Back once again for a Dark Six episode. Your boy Hello Kitty and this shared leadership team of the F3 Nation. Let me start and introduce them in and say hi to them from outer space. The Weasel Shaker. Gobbler, what's up?
What's up? How you doing?
I'm doing great. From the Northern Lights, the Aurora Borealis. Carmen San Diego.
Howdy.
Oh,
From a...
It's better than the dog picture he had up there a second ago.
what? That's why I didn't know what he was talking about. I thought he saw the dog up there.
Two guys in what appear to be traditional offices, one of which looks to me like it's the unlocked leader.
Boom.
Dark helmet. Yeah, looking good.
Schwaggin.
Yes, sir.
You know,
man.
I got this designed by a very, very talented professional.
Thank you, Conley. And the man in charge of keeping this dang nation connected through the sectors, GMO. What's up, brother?
What's up, my brother? Glad to be here.
And my brother who has joined me on the blurred background tonight, the expansion man, the tallest man on this call as well.
Just moving so fast. No,
Not a chance.
What?
No.
Oh, the San Diego man's got you beat?
I'm 6'8". I got him
6'8".
headily.
I actually had to meet him
checking
in
it?
person to believe it, and yeah, he truly sky over me.
What are you checking in at, Kelly?
So let's see. So being
we know who the
6'4",
shortest-
right?
Yeah.
Being 6'4".
Harmon is literally a whole foot taller than me. That is no joke. On a good day, because some days I come in at 5'7.5".
And just like in most things in my life, I am woefully average.
For the Lake Braddock Bruins football season 98, I was 5'10" in the program, and that's a total lie. Like total lie. But you gotta get whatever advantage you can.
That's right.
So anyways, guys, it's good to see you, man. Everybody having good weeks here so far?
Absolutely.
Still on paternity leave here.
Yes.
Are you going to knit the whole time? What are you doing?
Yes,
Stop.
I must.
How big does that sock have to be?
Don't. And
You're knitting
Go
a
back.
sock.
We came up with some new hats this week, but y'all don't need to see those.
Anywho, guys, I'm pumped, man. First of all, we're doing this show again. I think it's our third run at this thing that we've settled in for this. We have got podcasts dropping every god dang day on the network. The newest of which being the Stuff Worth Trying podcast. Helmet's got awesome new guests rolling in on 43 Feet. Eric Maddox was amazing.
even the general commented that he enjoyed that one. Like
Right.
texted me unsolicited.
You got Bones, who just this week, you guys heard on Thursday, came at you with the Hunt for Wellness. So it's good times, man. A lot of fun happening around the nation. And a product of that is just because of what this rapid expansion has looked like. And this map continues to grow, the sectors continue to grow. And we're like, let's keep pushing out what we do to connect these guys.
Can I give kind of just a quick, like, how awesome is this? GMO and I were in a meeting just before we were recording here, and we are literally within inches of completing our, or rather meeting, I guess, our 2021 goal in terms of number of AOs and number of regions. We've already smashed number of regions, and we're just this close to meeting the number of AOs, and we're not even in fourth quarter yet.
Yeah. So what's the number if anybody's got it at their web?
2920 was earlier today.
There you go.
I knew the number,
That's
man.
awesome.
The
Yeah.
live ticker.
200 regions. 200 regions was the goal, and 3,000 workouts is the goal. And so we are just, I mean, within inches. So
And I can tell you from the pace that's coming in, probably 15 to 20 a day. We're fine.
Yeah. I just had some guy in some random market asked to go put on the map, and I'm like, how many you got posted? Like 3 of us. Okay, let's talk about this before we do that.
Yeah.
But I love their ambition, and the
They're
question
out there.
was, how do we promote our AO if we're not on the map? So, you know, a great conversation.
Good point. That's a good point. CSD, it's one of my favorite things. I basically check in daily on the homepage. By the way, if you want to add an AO to the map, just go to the map, and there's a great step-by-step process on the website for you guys to follow to do it. It's amazing. But seeing that number tick over, it's way more fun than watching the national debt calculator. So thanks for being a breath of sunshine.
There's like an inverse relationship though. So that going for us.
That's true. But exciting times, man. And I'll tell you this much. I don't know if everybody's able to make it, but we're going to see almost all of you guys in not but 2 weeks time. Is it next weekend coming up for this
It is
10-year
next-
anniversary?
Yeah, not this coming, but the following.
Yeah. So that's super exciting. In the flesh.
I'm going to make it, so everyone else should. That's the way I look at it.
He'll have some lovely hats for you, for you all to wear.
We might.
So Bing, GMO, we're tracking well. We got new regions coming in. We got new AOs popping up. I know with the sector Qs and what we're going to do is just continue to hammer home the core 5, right? And just hammer it home, right? Free, all men, peer-led, outdoors, COT, right? All that stuff. And there's probably a natural drumbeat as to how that happens. You get the free thing out of the way. But we're expanding, right? So the all men thing continues to sort of pop through and been a little bit of conversation. And guys, I think they just sort of naturally kind of want some clarity, right? Like as they're onboarding this. Is that a fair kind of statement? Something we've kind of seen just popping through with conversations?
Yeah, I think, we even see from an expansion standpoint, a lot of guys, groups that are maybe pastors that learned about what we have, or might be, launching a church, a non-denominational church. And the one thing we point out is one of our core principles is it's open to all men. So if that non-Christian wants to come work out with you, how do you feel about that? And, in most cases, they're like, that's great. Bring it on. Like we welcome every man into our community. I said, good, because F3 is open to all men. So if we're talking about excluding men just because of religion, that's not F3. And that's a blunt conversation we've had to have with a couple of launch prospects, because that's exactly what they wanted. They wanted an offshoot of their church, and only members of their church could participate in it. And I just had this, politely decline helping them because, we're not interested in just being a church small group. Now, to be a church small group and introduce it to a lot more men in your church, that's great. But you can't turn somebody away because they're not paying dues to your church, or they don't have the same beliefs as you.
That's a good example. That's a real example. You've seen kind of, come down a little bit.
Yeah, I think some of the other things that we're seeing is maybe there's regions that are AOs that have been in place for a very long time, and they're kind of stunting their growth. Do the regions maybe need to think about, are there different types of fitness levels? Are there different types of AOs that would attract men who maybe don't like to run, or guys that just want to be Clydesdales? They just want to lift, so how can we create some diversity in the type of workouts so that it's maybe open to men of all different fitness levels? Do we really welcome guys that maybe can't keep up, or really good at picking up the 6 at our AOs? Something I always say when I promote this on the interwebs is all fitness levels, belly sizes, ages. Looks like the way we started here, maybe heights. I don't know if there's any restrictions on heights here, but we got to be open to all men, all fitness levels, and I think different faith backgrounds too.
Yeah, I think inevitably too, it's probably going to lead towards some uncomfortable conversations you might end up having at your region level. And by the way, you got to tackle it there. Like it's got to be addressed there, and it's got to be taken care of. What do you think, Helmut?
No, I said it's the only place it can get taken care of.
Right.
I mean, I can talk all day about what, this, that, or the other thing, but ultimately at the end of the day, I'm not there. I can't help you. But one of the things I was just thinking of when you said uncomfortableness, Gobbler and all of us, I guess we're on our text string earlier said like, that's the point. And I was like, I don't know if it's the point to make it uncomfortable, but it's certainly the point to be in a place where we can have uncomfortable conversations. Right. And I don't know how to say this nicely. So I'm just going to say it. Like if your objective, kind of like, Bing was talking about, if your objective is to find some sort of homogenous, group that we only are around people like us, we only let people in like us, we don't want to have these conversations, we don't want to have difficult conversations, we're going to exclude men, who don't look like us or smell like us or who aren't 6'8" or, whatever it is. That would exclude a lot of freaking people. But like with all the love in my heart, get the hell out. Oh wait, I'm not excluding you. No, you're still welcome.
That's right. That's right. Yeah,
I'm joking. But that we would never kick you out. But it's you're making it tough. You're making it tough. You're not living a core principle for one thing, but also, the reason we have the core principle in the first place, if we have something good that we really believe, that we truly believe is going to bless the life of another man in some way, make him a better husband, make him a better father, make him a better member of the community, make him a better boss or a better employee or whatever it might be, right? If we really believe that, how dare you keep that from a man who needs it? And if he's not like you and he's not living those things, he's not accelerating, he is a sad clown, isn't that the guy that you need near you? Isn't that the guy you need to bring in close and help and persuade and give a little leadership to? Isn't that I mean, if all you guys are the same and everybody's accelerating the same and all that kind of stuff, who the heck are you going to lead? Lead each other? You're already doing it, stupid. So why don't you bring men in who need you? Why don't you be a leader instead of some kind of weird managing boss kind of person? It just doesn't make any sense, right? It's not how we're supposed to live. We're supposed to bring in those that need what we have, because I'm here to tell you, we have some of the best stuff that there ever was or ever will be, in my estimation. So don't miss the point, right? So open to all men doesn't mean just that we let everybody come to a workout. It means once you look at every aspect of your life, and decide whether or not you're really open, and decide whether or not you really care about another human being enough to go outside of yourself, to get uncomfortable, to invite them in, to put yourself in a vulnerable situation, to maybe fail, to maybe have them reject you. Oh, I'm so sorry, right? But to live like that, if you're not living like that, then I'm going to tell you, you're selling yourself short of what leadership could look like in your life. That's what I really believe.
I think there's an aspect of this too, is like, we're here, they can come, we're going to welcome them, but what are we even going to go further than that and go pursue them, right? Pursue them in the grocery line, strike up a conversation, go and pursue them in all kind of diverse areas of your city. How do you go and serve in those communities to build some relationships, to build some trust and say, hey, let's get this thing started. We're not here to save you or solve this for you, but we're here to be present and to be available to your community and continue to love on them and build relationships even deeper than just showing up to a workout. Show up to their community events. We had an event in our North AO here last week that we poured into joining them in a community days to get to know the men in the community there. So I think there's a lot we can do, not just to welcome, but to really get out and pursue these guys.
I think the element of the nicknames too really kind of creates that great equalizer. As you're in the gloom, I'm Bing. I'm not David Kelly, Chief Marketing Officer of my automotive group. The guy standing across from me isn't looking at me as an authority because of what I do for work, and he might just look at himself as, I'm just so-and-so because I do whatever I do with my work, entry-level job, whatever it might be. It's the great equalizer. I mean, it doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't really matter what you believe. I'm really willing to be here to better myself for all the same reasons Dark Helmet mentioned, just as a man, as a husband, as a father, to get more fit. Maybe that's really most of what I'm looking for. But then there's also the guys there that are there because they want to help that man across the circle from them, the circle of trust. It doesn't matter what they do for a living. It just matters that they're a man, and we're open to every single one of them.
Yeah, and I kind of like that you don't know.
Yeah.
I kind of like that maybe we don't even talk about it.
Right.
Maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe, the guy, and this is one of the things I love about Metro, like, there's guys that are very well to do, right? Multi bajillionaires, right? These guys never have to work again. Their kids never have to work again. Their kids probably never have to work, like if they didn't want to, right? And they're showing up and they're doing burpees with guys who are, cooking lunch, at a fast food place. And nobody asks and nobody cares. And they give each other the same crap, that they would give anybody else. Because again, if this is the best thing there is, if you really believe that in your heart, then shouldn't we all be on the same playing field? Shouldn't we all be, open and welcome to everybody?
Yeah. And if you've ever said,
hold on,
these
Carm's
words-
got something there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it comes out of the workouts too. Like, how many times have you gone to a grocery store and heard your name yelled across the grocery store? Yeah. Like, it's same story. Like, you get out in public and you see these guys, and maybe places where you wouldn't normally run into these guys, you're seeing them and they're yelling, and you're still right back in that same that same group of just every man. And it's, and to elaborate a little bit more on reaching out to other guys. I mean, we go to the grocery store all the time. I see other guys all the time and we're saying these names and people will look over and be like, what are you talking about? Oh, let me tell you about that. So, I mean, it's, it is kind of, balancing. It's a good way to feel in public too, not just at the workouts.
Well, the coolest thing is, Carmen saying, he goes, you don't go up to that guy and go, hey, wait a minute. Are you Christian? Are you this? Are you that? Are you this? Oh yeah, then you're welcome to come to our, that never happens. You go up, you see a guy, you don't care what he does. You don't care what he's thinking or what he believes. If it addresses him, I'd say one of my more fun EHs was at a guy at Kmart standing there holding a Thigh Master in his hand. And I'm looking at this thing going, no. And I just walked up and I said,
the Thigh Master down.
Yeah.
Suzanne Summers cannot help you.
Yes, it was a Walmart. Sorry, Kmart's are long gone. It was a Walmart. And I'm looking at this guy. I'm like, this guy's going to break this thing on one move. And the guy was pretty fit. And I introduced him to it and, handed him an EH card. And I don't know that I ever saw him come out, but I didn't ask him what he was buying it for and what,
but sometime as he's squeezing his beefy thighs together, maybe he's thinking of you.
Oh, time to go yet?
Go guys.
So as you said, I was having a conversation. I just started going to this church, so I was talking to the pastor today. I was kind of explaining what F3 was and whatnot. And one of the points I made to him, is that a lot of times in life, we ask men to do things, and they've got no training, they got no experience. And I look at the workouts that, the base thing that F3 is those workouts, is it gives us a chance, we as men, to practice in a no risk environment what we need to do the rest of the day, no matter what that is, and it starts with being open to all men. If you can't be open to working out with a guy at 5:30 in the morning when you really don't know who he is, what he's doing, other than you just show up, do burpees together. I mean, it's the lowest bar possible. If you can't be open to all men at that point, and practice it there, how are you going to do it in the rest of your lives when you have so much other friction and you actually know things about guys, their politics, their religion, what they did to your sister or whatnot, right? All of those things,
you work with Gobbler.
Don't go there. But it applies to a lot of things, but really with this principle, open to all men. If you can't accept a guy at that point, when all you have to do is do a few burpees, run around a track, if I can accept the guys from Greenwood during the month of September, I can pretty much accept everybody. I mean, that's the way I look at it. And it allows you to practice those principles in a no risk environment, so that when it really counts, when the chips are down and it really matters, you have that muscle memory built in, and that you can actually give a man the benefit of the doubt when he truly needs it and when you need to give it to him.
Yeah, I like that you said open, not just, open to his ideas, open to his way of thinking, open to his way of life, open to the things that he does. Because if I can't at least listen and bring it to the middle, and keep the tent pole, upright where it's supposed to be, then how are we going to get anywhere? Kitty, what are your thoughts?
No,
I'm kind of asking everybody else.
I'm just enjoying kind of taking it all in. I mean, to me, it's pretty clear. And look, things are going to come up. What about this? All men. What about this? All men. You kind of come back to it. And look, you're going to get caught in minutia, right? Well, I'd like my 16-year-old son to come, right? You're going to have to work through what that I can't answer that for you, right? Because your region might be different. You're going to have to work through that part together, right? You're going to have to work through that, and that's going to be part of it.
Yeah.
But I kind of keep coming back to what you guys are saying. And my thought is, how are you ever going to walk towards the middle with love if you're putting barriers up on this thing related towards someone coming out and joining this workout group? And what I was going to say earlier was, if you've ever said these words, and I know I have, this was the thing I found that I didn't know I was looking for, then you better get your ass moving to get it to every single man that you can. Because if you've said that and I've said it, then we got to get it out.
Yeah, you just made me think of something else too, Kitty, not to talk too much, but
Come on.
we kind of jokingly always say, like, okay, well, here's the flow chart, right? Question 1, are you a dude? Answer yes. Okay, go to question 2. Will you do burpees? If the answer is yes, proceed to workout. If the answer is no, I don't have to tell you, right? But it came up again recently, and I went back and just looked really quick. And now I hope he doesn't mind me doing this. I hope this doesn't. I mean, it was in a public channel, public-ish, right? F3 Nation channel on Slack, and so I hope Spike out of Austin doesn't get upset. But a question came up recently about all men. What does that mean? And different perspectives. And look, that could be anything. It could be their sexual orientation, their gender identity, whatever the things are, right? Their religion, their color, their creed, their whatever, right? Their nationality. But he wrote this and he said, let's see. He said, basically, I struggle with the best answer for this when someone brought it up locally. They're in Texas. The conversation spurred a ton of thought, prayer, and fun, interesting conversations with his wife. He said, let's see. He sat down with a cup of coffee, and here's what he was thinking. And I thought this is an interesting way to look at it. Now, he's a man of the Christian faith, and so this is kind of his framework for looking at it. But I think the questions that he asks are relevant regardless of whatever your faith tradition might be. He says, do I believe something different than a potential PAX? Yes. Does that mean they need this any less than I do? No. Is it my job to judge their sins just because mine are, or just because theirs are different than mine? No. Does God call me to love my neighbors regardless? Yes. Ultimately, again, this is his faith, mine too, for that matter, but we show them God's love and truth. By us doing that, they see there is something different about the men we are around, and hopefully that leads them walking down a better or different path, right? And I was like, man, Spike, you nailed it. Like that's kind of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
We bring men to
that
the
much more special too, right? That we're all different, that we all bring unique perspectives and beat downs to the gloom. So it's just going to make it that much better. Sure.
Yeah.
The other thing I would think in that is that if you truly disagree with another man to the point where you're like, this is a big issue, then I would challenge everyone to say, hey, look, if it's that important, religion, politics, whatever, then you'd probably need to be proximate to him so that you can influence him. I mean, I assume you believe what you believe because you think you're right, and otherwise you wouldn't believe it. And so you want to pass that on to other people. You don't. I don't care what it is what is that important to you. At the end of the day, you can't have an influence upon another man if you're not in proximity to him. You have to rub shoulders with him, and he's not going to care what you have to say if you aren't willing to do a couple of Merkins next to him. He's just not going to care.
Yep.
Or if you won't let him do them next to you, like this, you build and the Grow Ruck is built on this, right? The idea that we put men together in difficult circumstances, and it is over that shared experience that you build a bridge. And so if you ever hope to have an influence on a man that disagrees with you, that sees the world a different way, so that you could pass your information, purely for selfish reasons, right? You want to pass your own, you want to proselytize him, whatever. Okay. What's probably going to happen is you're going to learn that, oh, wait, maybe he's got a lot more in common than I do. Because you know what? An atheist still is a father, just like me. A Buddhist still gets married and has problems with his wife, just like me, right? These things are common. My dad is, dying. Guess what? I have yet to meet a man who doesn't have problem, whose dad didn't die at some point and go through that. These are common problems, issues. I don't even know what you want to call them, experiences that we all have, and they don't have to be a white Christian who's in the military to be able to commiserate with me and to offer advice.
Yeah.
But it would help because that's all you damn talk about.
I'll tell you
And
too.
squats.
Squats.
Right. If he could squat out 300, then he's okay with me.
I also want to be the guy who the rest of society looks at us and says, wait a minute, you guys work out with this person, you work out with that one, you work out with, yeah, abso-freaking-lutely. You work out with this guy just got out of prison. Yeah. Right. This guy did that. Yeah. This guy, that, right. Yeah. Yes. Yes, because the rest of the world is saying no, 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 split up, separate, divide, get away from each other, get away from each other, get away from each other.
Yeah.
Forget that. Get in here, get in the circle, put my arm around you, and let's get into it, because everybody else wants to hear us. And we're coming here. It's enough of
Yeah.
that. It's too much. And another thing too is like, this life we're living is so damn serious. We got a lot going on, right? A lot happening. I just want to go out for 45 minutes, screw around with these dudes, run around, fart a little bit, make some jokes, and just cut loose a little and get in good shape doing it. So we can't be so serious all the time either.
And from what I've heard, it's not a little bit, but
Well, you know what I mean? Like,
no, you're 100%. It's 100% right. And just to kind of play on that one more step isn't that what leadership is? What's the status quo? It's divisiveness, it's hatred, it's orism. If you've read that Deal by Dread, right? That's the status quo. We are called as men and as leaders to disrupt that, which means act in opposition to that in some way.
So check this out. We work out with black and white and brown and yellow and Christian and Buddhist and atheist and straight and gay and a transgender who's a man and all of the above and every step of the way. And that's what it is. That's what it is. That's what that number 2 means. That's what it is.
And it would be easy for me to say, and if you don't like that, and kind of like I joked about before, like, if you don't like that, then go away. No, brother,
if you don't like it, let's come talk about it.
I get it. Yeah, exactly. Come tell me. Come talk to me about it.
Let's
and I
talk
mean
about
that
it.
sincerely.
Let's open up.
DarkHelmet@FreeNation.com.
Yes, we all got to open our hearts up, man. It ain't easy. None of it. Like, we all got to open our hearts up.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Get
100%.
it, man. It's not going to be the easiest thing. Right?
GMO has his GMO smug smile on. So
And we got to wrap it up too, because we're up against time.
We do not get up for easy. We like tough beatdowns. We like tough conversations. We like to mix it up. This is who we are, guys. We're not going to get to 250,000 by being the same and thinking the same and only doing the same thing. We have got to be open to all men. And we, as leaders on this SLT, need to model that. And we need all the guys listening to this to model that as well. Yeah.
Yep.
Good stuff, man.
Good stuff, fellas. All right, we're up against time. We can't stay with these guys forever. We're trying to keep these tight and right. We could do this for hours and hours, but we all have roles, responsibilities, and things of that nature to take care of. Man, I love you guys. So grateful for the chance to do this. Just getting started here, guys. Just getting started. All right, folks.
Is this where we put theme music again?
This is where I say this.
Oh.
This is where I say this. We thank you for always getting our 6. We'll do the best we can to get yours. We'll see you next time.